plus 225 for Sugar Sean O'Malley, dude. So getting some juice there on the O'Malley side if you feel confident as much as I do feel confident. Let's go Sugar Show, baby. Got my Sugar Sean O'Malley fucking pink wig, repping fresh here today. Sugar Sean O'Malley. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Golden Octagon MMA channel. I am Matt Anderson, and on the other side of your screen is Dorian Rose. And right now, hands down, pound for pound, the most entertaining podcast this week you will watch. This is the Golden Octagon MMA podcast. And guess what? It's Coach Khabib Fight Week, baby. Let's fucking go, Dorian. Are you ready? I cannot wait for this fucking week, dude. As most of our viewer knows, I'm having some shit going on this week. I just want to let old D know himself. So a little bit kind of different rundown on how shit works this week. I'm going to let him take part on this past weekend's fights. Ask me a few questions where I'm not rambling on for minutes on end. But that being said, if you guys wouldn't mind, 10-7, that like button for us. Show us what's up. Help the channel out as much as you can. Subscribe to the channel if you are not. And comments are always appreciated down below in the comment section, obviously. With that being said, let's get into it, man. The fights from this past weekend, I got to be honest, weren't the best in the world. I was excited. My two favorite fighters at women's 125, I couldn't really choose who I actually wanted to win, even though it came down to it. I did end up fucking picking because the Roy Val versus Askarov fell out, but we'll get into that later on in the show, dude. But Dorian is the remaining defending pick champ of the week. I don't know if you got your belt there this week, but I don't know if it really fucking matters too much. Like, we were just in all reality waiting for this upcoming week, but we're gonna give you he's going to give you the results as quick as possible for this past weekend. We're going to talk about it for just a second. No news this fucking week, dude. Not shit going on. And then we're going to talk about what everyone is here to listen to this upcoming weekend's pay-per-view fight card, UFC 280 in Abu Dhabi, Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev. TJ Dillashaw, that is Dorian's favorite fighter, for those of you who didn't know, on the record, versus Aljamain Sterling. And then my favorite fighter, if you couldn't tell, Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Petrosyan. That is the top three fights, and I cannot wait. So with that being said, dude, let's just get into it. I'm going to pass it to you. Give me the results from this past weekend, and I'm going to let you start off. Damn, this thing's hot as shit. I'm going to let you start off, I guess, just wherever you want to talk about what little that there was to talk about this past weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be pretty interesting seeing you, if I can see you jump into different uniforms as well. So stay tuned for that for the watching audience here. But over this past weekend, Alexa Grasso and Viviane Araujo ended up going a 5-round decision, and Alexa Grasso came out your victor, 1 50-45 and 2 49-46s. And I know we had a little bit of disagreement about as far as the fight went in totality. And we won't chew on this too much because we do want to get into this weekend's coming up card. But for this main event, as a fight overall, what was your overall opinion of how the fight played out and who you think won?
First off, let me just say, I thought the fight was a lot closer than what apparently the judges fucking thought it was. Score at the end was one of the judges 5-0 Grasso. The other two were 4-1 for Grasso. At the end of the fight, I was like, damn, dude, that's super close. I was actually leaning 3-2 Vivi just because I just feel like she was in like fucking Grasso's face all night. I kind of learned something about like fucking Grasso being like fucking one of my favorites is, dude, she's not the best when she's always fucking moving backwards. If you can put pressure on her, you can make it a close fight. And I guess I actually learned something from that fight because, as I said, I was actually leaning like fucking Viviane Araujo at the end 3-2, but in the end, judges 5-0 Grasso, 4-1 Grasso. But I thought super close fight, truly could have went either way. Like my girlfriend probably one of her top 3 fighters. And she was like, she is a fucking Grasso fan through and through. And she was like, I don't know. It's like, it's a close fight. And so I would expect her to be fucking biased, but she, like, even fucking she didn't know. So close fight all around. That's what I thought about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I think overall as well. I think for the totality of the fight, even though the scorecard, I thought the scorecard was right as far as the 49-46. I thought Araujo might have snuck out. I think it was the third round in there. She had a little bit of ground control, was able to back up Alexa Grasso against the fence. Although the scorecards were 49-46, in my opinion, the rounds were close in each round. So Araujo definitely had some fight in each round, but I do think that it just seems like Alexa Grasso was just one step ahead. Where Vivi, her fighting style, she's very plotty, likes to walk forward, puts on the pressure. And I think Alexa Grasso, it kind of played into her favor a little bit. I do think she was getting a little bit flustered, as you said, with the pressure there in the middle of the fight and had to kind of get readjusted to the takedowns and everything. But I think overall, I thought Alexa Grasso, I thought she did enough to win. Or unless, did you have anything else that you'd wanted to say on the fight?
I was just going to say, like, you could have been too mad, even if it like fucking went like the other way. Like it was a super close fight, and like even like the numbers like agree with it too. Like all the numbers were pretty fucking close too.
Yeah, all the strike numbers were close, and I thought each round was close per se. And the fight was not a wash. So when someone thinks 49-46 or 50-45, that Alexa Grasso is winning there, dominated the fight. But if you see a snapshot of both of their faces after the fight, you can see that Alexa Grasso was definitely in a dogfight. But was there anything else that you had to take away from this fight?
Vivi's cardio, dude. I think she's fixed the hole, dude. I think she can go all fucking 5 rounds now, as she fucking did, dude. She was putting on all the pressure, all 5 rounds. Maybe not like the wrestling, like the pressure that she like fucking like she's like fucking normally going for, but I was impressed that it looks to me like she's improved her cardio holes. But that's all from that fight for me.
Yeah, I know that was one thing you would always mention, that Vivi always had 2 rounds in her, and that was going to be about it. So to see her to go the full 5 rounds, and even though that she didn't get the win, she put up a valiant effort. Definitely good on her part. But I wanted to transition to what a little bit of the conversation was after the main event, and that some people were saying that Alexa Grasso might be looking for a title fight soon. Do you think that her performance from this past weekend, just real quick, do you think that it actually warrants a title shot versus Valentina Shevchenko at the moment?
I think that'll depend on this upcoming weekend's fight versus the Choo and Manon Fiorot, dude. I think that fight is going to decide it all. If there is a dominant outcome in that fight that's not Katlyn Chookagian, I think we'll see a title shot for Manon Fiorot.
Yeah, no, and that totally makes sense, because I think both Fiorot and Chookagian are, they have a lot of momentum going right now, and Fiorot is one of those up and coming contenders that they're definitely giving a push for, and she definitely has that savage side to her as well. In my personal opinion, I think that Alexa Grasso actually, I think even with the result of this weekend in hand with Chookagian and Fiorot, I don't know if Alexa Grasso actually did enough in her total performance to earn a title shot. I do think that she had notched herself one step closer. Now, as far as the rankings of the women's in 125, I don't have them necessarily in front of me at the moment, but I do know that Chookagian
I think I got it, dude.
is one that's in front of her.
Like on my fucking noggin. Fucking Vivi was 6, Grasso was 5. I think Andrade is fucking up there too, maybe 4. Chookagian, I believe, is 2. Talia Santos 1, maybe, or like they're all fucking no, or I think Chookagian's 1, Santos is 2. But like I know like the top 5 and the like in the top 6 fucking start at Vivi though. And then it's just fucking up from there.
It's a big gumbo pot of Taila Santos, Jessica Andrade, Katlyn Chookagian, those types of fighters. I would like to see Alexa Grasso potentially take a fight against one of those fighters, even if Fiorot ends up losing to Chookagian or vice versa. I would still like to see Alexa Grasso potentially take on one of those fighters, because I do think that although she has made Alexa Grasso has made a lot of strides in the 125 division, still think she has a little bit more time to kind of build herself up. Last performance, she was able to get a win against Vivi and looked pretty well, but still think there was a little bit left to be desired. But
I just think like she would have to do. It wasn't impressive enough, concrete enough of a win to be like, oh, title shot off with that. But it wouldn't surprise me just because fucking 125 is so light, dude. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely thin for sure, and that's one of the biggest problems with Valentina is that they're kind of just throwing anybody in there right now. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Chookagian was to get a win this weekend if they did end up running back to Tyler Santos' fight, just because of how close that first fight was between the two.
That's exactly how I see it going. Like,
yeah.
Alexa, that's why I said like if Manon Fear, because I don't see Chookagian getting another title shot again. And like we seen how it went, you know.
Yeah, most definitely. But moving on down, wanted to move down to the co-main event here, and this was one that was a little bit of a dagger in my heart, man. Killer Cub Swanson was going in, making the new transition into the new division, dropping down from 145 to 135, and looked pretty good as far as making the cut goes. He had a little bit of a weird fight week. He had the media a day where he had the guest speaker in there for him, answering all the questions, and I know that, you know, he was very standoffish with everybody as far as, you know, media goes and stuff like that. But as far as the fight went itself, I thought that Cub actually looked pretty good. But overall with Martinez and Cub Swanson, Martinez looked really good. But what was your overall opinion of how the fight played out?
I'm glad that you pointed out like the fight week thing, because that is when I knew immediately. I was like, oh, this isn't good. If he came and answered questions because of the weight cut, dude, that's a problem. And why else would he not be answering fucking questions, you know? So I almost feel like that's something that it was a dead fucking giveaway that he is like weight cut wasn't amazing. What surprised me in the fight, dude, was that Jonathan Martinez was still bigger than Cub Swanson. It didn't make sense. Like he was coming down from 145 and Martinez was still the bigger of the two. Martinez, dude, pretty much did what he does do. John Crouch's whole camp, dude, and that's why the Chris Gutierrez versus Frankie Edgar fight, you got to watch out for this. That whole camp, dude, has the best leg kicks, dude, and just played a part, just took out Cubs' legs. I read on Cubs' Instagram probably like an hour before this that his like leg wasn't initially like fucking bothering him. His rib got hurt early on in the fight, so he was just always trying to fucking guard his rib, and then after a while it was just like leg and rib. He just rolled over and just fucking was like, you know, it just not my night. So Cub Swanson, tough cut down to 135. Didn't look big. I don't know, dude. Maybe one more up at 145 and hang that shit up, dude. I'd be all right if I didn't have to see Killer Cub get mollywop no more, dude.
Yeah, man, I thought the fight actually played out. I thought in the first round for Cub Swanson, I thought that he actually came out and had a lot of fire, and I thought that he was able to actually put a lot of pressure on Martinez there early on. And he was able to land some good combinations, was able to get it out of the way of a lot of Martinez's big shots. But Martinez, he was steady throwing the body kick and the head kick. And even though Cub was blocking a lot of them, I do think the cumulative damage on Cub's arm started taking effect as the fight started playing out. And Cub was a little bit more hesitant to get in there and to try to arm block a lot of the punches, because I think his arm was taking a lot of the damage from those body kicks that Martinez kept landing. And I thought, for me, in my opinion, and maybe I'm a little bit biased, I don't know, but I actually thought Cub was winning the first round up until he got the knee landed on him. And right when he had the knee landed on him with about like 30 seconds left, it almost seemed like Cub just couldn't get his senses back right after that point, because that was when Martinez was really able to kind of have him more as a standstill target than Cub Swanson using his footwork and moving around. And as you said, he just started chopping away with his leg kicks and really, really ended up taking a lot of damage to Cub Swanson's leg. And man, I don't know if I've ever seen Cub Swanson just like kneel over and give up like that almost. And I know, you know, if you can't stand on one leg,
not like that.
Yeah, well, and that's a body kick. So,
Mhm.
most people are going to, pretty much fall to like those nasty body shots, body punches, anything like that. But to see Cub just kind of fall, and you could see when he just hit the ground, he just kind of looked up in the lights like, dude, what the hell just happened to me? So he just looked like he just got hit with an absolute blitz, man. And I think I agree with you as well as far as what I'd like to see from him next. Maybe a move up to 145, one more move up to 145, maybe take on another old fighter, just like, he fought Darren Elkins. He could fight a Clay Guida, somebody like that. And I know that's up at 155, but he can take on one of those old names and I think right off into the sunset at that point because at this point, I don't want to see Cup take any more unnecessary damage.
Indeed, man. Indeed. That's pretty much exactly how I feel. That was the first, I guess, different pick of the night. So I went Dragon Martinez. Dorian went Cub Swanson. Our other pick, Askar versus Brandon Royval. That one did end up falling off. So I did message Dorian right before, like the Dragon fight, and I was like, "Hey, man, if like fucking Dragon wins, I'll take fucking Vivi, just like so we can have a pick champ this week." But obviously, Grasso won. Our other like different pick was Nick Maximov versus Curtis Blades. I did pick Maximov. I said Curtis Blades.
Because you call him the light skinned Curtis Blades.
They're just one of the same now. Nick Maximov versus Jacob Malkoun. Excuse me. I did go Nick Maximov. Dorian did go Jacob Malkoun. Nick Maximov, I think, in my opinion, won round one, dropped the light skinned Curtis Blades, and then blew his knee out. And then Dorian loves when I say this. Jacob Malkoun literally has no finishing instinct. The dude couldn't finish a late night snack. Nick Maximov was on a one leg for full 2 rounds, and Jacob Malkoun could not get him out of there. So I just want to throw that out there on our last pick. So that's our pick differences for the day. I don't know if old D was going to go down to the prelims, but I had to give y'all that before he just kind of glossed over it.
Yeah, nah, definitely was going to bring it back around. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get to see the much of the fight of Maximov and Malkoun, so I was going to kind of let you take the way, which you did, but yeah, I couldn't forget that the champ brought the strap home again. So
Yeah,
we had to
dude,
throw it up for the city
but
one time.
but let it be known, dude, that Nick Maximov dropped Jacob fucking Malkoun like with his hands, knocked him down. So that's something a little put in my back pocket for the future because Malkoun's got a chin on him, dude. Like that's not easy to hurt that guy. So just kind of something to keep in the fucking back pocket for the future. But I'm gonna let you get back to breaking down what happened this weekend. I guess just the rest of the fights because that was pretty much the importance of this past weekend.
Yeah, yeah, and that was really all I was going to do. Is just kind of just gloss over some of the results, and if you had kind of a point you wanted to make, you could go ahead. But
Let me look back.
one of the yeah, I would say one of the fights that I'm sure was a ball buster for you was Rafael Assuncao and Victor Henry, and I was able to see not all the fight, but I was able to see a good portion of the fight, and from what I was able to see, looked like Assuncao was really just able to interrupt Victor Henry every time Victor Henry would try to step up and try to apply the pressure to him. And every single time that, he would try to either throw a kick, Assuncao was able to check a leg kick. He was able to catch the body kicks. He had the sequence in there in the second round where he caught Victor Henry's leg and just threw 4 or 5 straight right hands in a row and was able to really put Victor Henry on his back. Took him down a couple of times, was able to get some good control, and overall, Victor Henry really busted a lot of parlays for everybody around the world. I can about bet you that. But did you have any opinions on this fight?
Couldn't have said it better myself, dude. Like that's exactly how I feel, dude. Unfortunately, Victor Henry was pretty much in all of my parlays. Not just straight up. I didn't think he was going to get Assuncao out of there, but I wasn't confident enough in the decision. All my parlays had Victor Henry and over 1.5. I do bet on fucking fucking DraftKings. I almost feel like that was a solid bet. Like, how is that? As you said, dude, Assuncao, just the perfect word that you use, just interrupted him, dude. Just interrupted him all night. Never let Victor Henry get cooking. And that being said, 30-27 Rafael Assuncao, dude. Like, how does someone have so much hype coming off of beating the brakes off of Honey Barcelos, dude, just to come in and get outgamed by Rafael Assuncao, dude?
Well, I think it was a little bit of a reset for Assuncao too, because in his last couple fights, you know, he got knocked out by Ricky Simone. He got knocked out by Cody Garbrandt. So he was on a little bit of a streak there of getting finished when we're not used to seeing Assuncao getting finished. So he was able to kind of get back. Said that he had kind of worked on the weight cut to help him get down just a little bit better down to 135 than what he had before. Said this is one of the best weight cuts that he had coming in. So I think he really knew his back was against the wall. Was about on a 4-fight losing streak, and really he's only lost to mostly the best guys in that division. So if you're not one of those top echelon guys, I think Assuncao is going to be a problem for you night in and night out. But
I cannot.
Was there anything else that you had on the fight?
Yeah, I cannot wait to bet Victor Henry in his fucking next fight, dude, because he's going to be so undervalued after just not getting beat by Rafael Assuncao, dude. Like fucking UFC is probably going to match him up super well, and he's just going to come out and just sweep the floor with a dude 30-27 in my opinion. I don't know if you want to talk about it, dude, but I do want to get your opinion on the Battle of the Glass Cannons, dude.
Yeah, so I was able to see some of that fight, but dude, Jordan Wright, man, I mean, he fights like Jordan Wright does. I mean, just comes out just a ball of fire, dude, and it's kill or be killed every time with this dude. And unfortunately for him, it's been more killed than doing the killing, because he just ends up getting put on his wallet just about every time he goes in there and gets in those brawls. And I was actually surprised. I thought once it came down to a slugfest, I thought that Jordan Wright going to be a little bit more equipped, but Todorovich, man, landing those good combos. He definitely showed the speed advantage and was able to land some big shots against Jordan Wright, and was finally able to get him down on the ground and get him out of there. But Jordan Wright, that dude, like, somebody has to just reel him in and just say, like, dude, like, you have got just slow down for a second. Like, I love your energy, I love your attitude, but dude, just pump the brakes, just slow down. He's all action all the time, man.
Dude, so I'm not sure if you actually seen all of it, dude, but the fight started off. Fucking Dusko came out, pushed him up against the fence immediately, went for a takedown, missed the takedown, and then Jordan Wright ended up on top the whole round. He was just in fucking top control. Round 2 started. Jordan Wright was exhausted. He had nothing left round 2 after literally just laying on top of Dusko all of round 1, dude. I was like, how is he tired? Like, nothing happened. I don't understand. Like, it was like Amanda being shot round 2 against fucking Pena. You're like, what happened so much that she's so gassed now? Like, you just didn't understand what happened. And then Dusko just come out and was like, hey man, hope you're ready for a fucking fist fight now, and just started knuckling Jordan Wright up. One thing that did surprise me was Jordan Wright's chin, dude. I expected Jordan Wright to go out at that point, and he didn't. He got TKO'd on the ground. Jordan Wright, I guess, showing an improved chin, but maybe fucking Dusko's power isn't fully there from what I remember.
Yeah, I would say probably more of that. And I think more of what I seen was the second round. I had seen where they were standing kind of in the middle of one another and just trading, just going blow for blow with one another. And that's kind of that's the Jordan Wright that I know, that just goes out there and just
round 2 was the exact opposite. Nothing but wrestling. Nothing but wrestling round 1.
Which is crazy to even think about for Jordan Wright being a karate guy himself, man. But hell of a fight and hell of a win for Todorovich. Was there anything else that you had on this fight?
Just want to shout out Atomic Alonzo Minifield for getting that round 1 KO/TKO over Misha Serkinov, dude. Just went exactly how I thought it was fucking gonna go, dude. Let me take a look at the prelims real quick. Mono Martinez versus fucking Brandon Davis. I believe, dude, There is one. I'm glad I fucking saw this fight because there is one big news topic that I fucking do want to talk about. Mono Martinez versus Brandon Davis, dude. Close fight. Fucking, I thought fucking Mono won, but it was fucking split decision at the end. Fucking Mono dropped him round 2. James Krause was getting in Mono Martinez's ass, dude, saying, "Hey, quit fucking around, dude. You're gonna lose this fight." Fucking Mono Martinez indeed does get that a decision there. Joe Anderson Brito actually mollywopped a few of my parlays too. I had Joe Anderson Brito by knockout, dude, and he just came out and sub Lucas Alexander with ease. And I see a lot of people on Tayatsu Taira, just young Japanese kid, all about the subs. Pretty much all I got to say from the rest of the card, dude.
Yeah, man, it was a decent night of fights. Don't want to disrespect the fighters because hey, they're going out there and they're putting everything on the line for our own entertainment. So we do, at the end of the day, being hardcore MMA fans, have to appreciate what they're willing to do for us. But moving into this weekend, man, big card. We've been talking about this for months now. UFC 280 going to be Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev fighting for the vacant lightweight title. And you're going to have Aljamain Sterling, TJ Dillashaw as the co-main event. But we're going to start off a little bit different this time. You know, a lot of times when we do our picks, when we talk about the fight cards, we do like to start from the top and work our way down. This week we're going to try to do it a little bit different. Try to keep you guys in there just a little bit longer in there for us. Give us a little bit more TSL, time spent listening, for those who aren't in the loop. But what we want to do is try to work our way down the card here. Super fun fight card. Bruce Buffer is going to have a heck of a time announcing all these names, so I'm going to have some fun. Definitely listening to him say all these names, but going to be opening up the card. Are you on Google or are you on Tapology? Because it has Mokaev, but he currently does not have an opponent.
You kind of I guess fast forwarded on me just a little bit. I was going to go to the news just real quick, like fucking that was the one.
Oh, my apologies.
Like
my apologies. Yeah.
But Dorian is letting you guys know how we're going to do like this week. Although I am going to I'm not gonna put that on you, old D Rose. I'll announce like the fights for this the upcoming weekend. But just the news, just real quick. I just want to get Dorian's thoughts and opinions on the news. That UFC fighters and coaches of the fighters are no longer allowed to bet on the fights. I could only imagine that it's the specific fights that they're in, but the teams or the fighters can no longer bet on fights that specific fighter is in, dude. So I know Coach Krause is all about betting on his own guys, dude. Immediate thoughts on that, man?
From my understanding, it's that if you're associated with the UFC, you're not allowed to gamble on any UFC. So if you're a current fighter on the roster, you're not allowed to place any bets towards any type of UFC event that's going on. You know, say for instance, if you're comparing it,
probably not. If I can, all right, for example, fucking James Krause, he could probably not only bet like on the fights that his guys are in, like he's allowed to bet on fucking UFC fights. Yeah, he just can't bet on the fights that that he has some shit to do with. Yeah.
So from my understanding, and this is going to be similar to if there are people out here who are bigger sports fans, I'm just going to use this for context here. Calvin Ridley is a wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, and just this past year he got suspended for he ended up saying that he took a week off from the team to try to take a mental break, but people ended up doing some research, blah blah blah, ended up finding out that it didn't take much research. He placed a $1,500 wager on the Atlanta Falcons, but he placed a wager on the Atlanta Falcons to win. And it was win, I think, for them to score the over on points. It was like a parlay. And the NFL actually suspended him for a year, even though he had no association with the team at that time. So from my understanding that the UFC is going to try to get a similar code of conduct to what the major sports organizations like the NFL, like the NBA have, to where they're going to try to be more more button up and tighten up about the situations to where they don't want any gambling from any of the fighters associated with the UFC in regards to the UFC. From my understanding, as far as the coaches, now Dana White can obviously come out and explain it, but just from the way that I read it and understood it, it seemed like it was going to be from everybody, and that's going to be a doozy for sure. Because I've heard a lot of fighters, like you said, James Krause,
But he don't
Aljamain
fight
Sterling.
no
I've
more.
heard him.
He's retired now, though. Fucking old Coach Krause is just the coach now.
No. But what I'm curious to see is, man, I would think that it would prohibit him, especially if he's going to be in the fighter's corner, to bet
but just
on
that
his fighter
specific
to win.
one, though. Yeah, just that specific fight, not every UFC fight.
But what I'm thinking that it's going to be in totality. But I mean, it could not be. It could just be for his fighters. But from my understanding, when I read it seemed like it was a totality.
That just blows my mind. It's like, bro, you're telling me Izzy can't bet on his fucking teammate to win, dude? Like, that kind of fucking blows my mind. But maybe it's just a way to get around that whole shout out skinny bets at fucking stake.com, dude. I'm sure that's a way to get around that. Like UFC is getting tired of like fucking like fighters, like, I guess, I don't know. It just seems kind of odd in fucking general overall, but hopefully it don't take out from fucking Coach Krause's show, because I do watch fucking James Krause's fucking YouTube. You won't catch me in that fucking Discord, though. The fuck I'm paying $50 for any fucking thing.
Yeah, well, and to be honest, it'd be different if these picks were just dynamite picks that were up, but some of his picks aren't even that crazy.
It's like, bro, thanks for telling me you were like fucking going to bet on a minus 230 favorite.
Yeah, I could have placed that bet myself, bro. Like thank you. Crazy.
Yeah, dude. But that's like the main fucking news from this week. So let's get into the meat and potatoes. Dorian explained what we're going to do. I know who he's fighting, or at least he was fighting 2 days ago. It was Jared Gordon, fucking Jared Gordon. You know, the guy, fucking 125, have absolutely no chin. He was fighting him. Is he is that like the same guy that you have that he is going to be fighting?
Currently, Google has nobody on there
Google
as
has
of right now.
no one there, but I think DraftKings like 2 days ago had Mohammed Mokaev was going to be taking on Jared Gordon.
Man, Jared Gordon. Man, Mokaev, though, he's one of these guys that, coming up from 125, he's heavy wrestler. One of these guys that we think coming from the other side of the region over there, that he's definitely going to be making some noise. And yeah, I do see on Tapology, it is going to be.
But that's not
Malcolm
the opener
Gordon
of the card, though. Yeah. Oh yeah, Malcolm Gordon. I said Jared Gordon.
Yeah. I would say I thought that was.
I have the opener of the card for UFC 280, the prelims. Fuck it, let's just run down it. I got Carol Rosa taking on Lena Landsberg to start off the night. Then Mohammed Mokaev taking on Malcolm Gordon. Arman Petrosyan taking on AJ Dobson. Abubakar Nurmagomedov taking on Omargadzhiev. Zabua. There was going to be one fuck up. At least that happened now. Zubaira Tukhugov taking on Lucas Almeida. Volkan Oezdemir taking on Nikita Krylov. Mohammed Muradov taking on Caio Borralho. Bilal, remember the name Mohammed, taking on the human Ninja Turtle, Sean Brady. Caitlin Chookagian, Choo taking on Manon Fear. Benny D, he loves Jesus, and he's going to be taking on Mateusz Gamrot. Peter Yan taking on the Sugar Show. Sean O'Malley. Aljamain Sterling going to be taking on Dorian's favorite fighter, TJ Dillashaw. And the main event of the night, Charlie Olives, Charles Oliveira, going to be taking on the Khabib protege, Islam Makhachev. That is the full rundown for this weekend, dude. Does that sound correct to you? Does it sound at least close enough? Is everyone's names on there? I only had one fuck up, and it was on Zubi, so that's not too bad.
Boom, boom. You were absolute money. Google has not been my favorite today, so I've actually just pulled up Tapology
Okay.
to confirm that the fight card is correct. And yes, everything that you went through is correct.
Okay.
Um,
So
but
we need to
yes,
start
yes, as
off.
you said,
We got to start off at
yes,
fucking Lena Landsberg and Carol Rosa. Yeah.
yes, interesting. Yes, interesting fight here. Uh, taking place at looks like it's going to be 135. Lena
Mhm.
Landsberg, she's been kind of hanging around for a little bit now.
So
I
old, man.
Yeah, yeah. I thought she had been hanging around for a little bit. 40 years old coming into this fight, 10-6. Looks like she had a fight, or she had actually fought as recently as April. So pretty surprising here. She's coming in on a 2-fight losing streak, taking on Carol Hosa. Who do you have winning this fight?
Actually have strong feelings about this fight, dude. You know I am a sucker for getting into these prelims, dude. I've been waiting on props all week. Guess what? We still don't fucking got them. So it is what it is, dude. A couple things throw me off about this fight. Just the bets totals have changed. Like fucking yesterday, I believe it was like minus maybe 180 for Carol Hosa. Now, dude, we got minus 305 for Carol Hosa, plus 255 for Lena Landsberg. The over under set at 2.5, minus 285 for under and over. We got plus 225. I just want to throw a couple things out there. I'm not sure it's going to happen. Aside, Carol Hosa is for sure going to win this fight. She's, I believe, 20 something or super early 30s now. As you said, Lena Landsberg, old, only been finished by 2 people. And those 2 people, old D Rose, off the top of my noggin, I got them here ready to go. One of those are Chris Cyborg, and the other one is Aspen Ladd, dude. Carol Hosa isn't either one of those. However, if I could bet on Lena Landsberg getting cut in every single fight, dude, I would bet on Lena Landsberg getting cut in every single fight. She bleeds every single time she fucking gets in a fight, dude. Her and fucking Nate Diaz, dude, they're fucking bleeding as the cut man are fucking putting the Vaseline on them, dude. They're splitting them open right there. Blood's coming out as they're getting into the fucking octagon, dude. I wish I could bet will Lena Landsberg bleed in this fight. So that being said, dude, I'm not saying this is a smart bet. I'm just saying something that you should maybe take a look at is as soon as if you get props, dude, is Carol Hosa by finish, dude, strictly due to cuts. Lena Landsberg does get cut up a whole lot. They are in Abu Dhabi. Keep that in mind. You don't know how squeamish the fans and commission are to women being all bloody there. There hasn't been that many like huge like fucking women fights there altogether because of just how everything works. They don't really have the same views as we do here in America. So don't be surprised if Carol Hosa gets a stoppage because of Lena Landsberg cut in that fight. That's how I feel. Carol Hosa definitely getting that dub though.
Just a tidbit of info. I know you were talking about in regards to how the fights are sanctioned over in Abu Dhabi. If it's anywhere outside of America, the UFC is actually their own sanctioning body. So going into Abu Dhabi, they will be their own sanctioning body. So they're going to hire all the officials, and they're going to have due process of how all the hierarchies and the hirings go. Kind of with the officials and all that stuff. So I do think as far as any type of fear of a potential TKO due to doctor stoppage, unless it's something absolutely crazy, I don't think we're going to have a Nate Diaz moment. But
Lena Landsberg bleeds. She bleeds, dude.
No, she definitely bleeds. She definitely bleeds a lot. And I got to think at 40 years old, man, especially coming down at, in this division, we had seen who was it, Marion Renault. She had kind of hung around for a little bit, but her last couple fights, she was getting finished a little bit as well. So a lot of times when the women hang around at this time, the men tend to age off a little bit too, but it seems like the women tend to age off a lot worse. So, maybe Holly Holm may be the exception, but outside of that, when women get up to this age, it doesn't really pan off for them too much. I think you could potentially see a Carol Hosa submission as well if you don't see if you don't see the finish with the TKO. So I think you could potentially go a double chance here. I know that you were saying for DraftKings that there are no prop bets right now, but for FanDuel, I actually do have prop bets right now, and you can get Rosa at KO, TKO, or submission on a double chance at plus 290 right now. So if that's kind of some value that, if that's kind of some value you see there, that's definitely something that you could look to take advantage of. Was there anything that you wanted to chew on?
I'd probably just go like the under at plus 225 if I was even betting it. But to be honest, women, not the best bet to call an under. I'm done here. That I'm all ready to move along to the next one.
No, and both women are coming off a loss against Sam McMahon recently as well. So wouldn't not be surprised if this fight ended up being a dud either. So if you're taking my advice for any gambling, don't gamble on this fight. But moving up on the card here, Mohammed Mokaev taking on Malcolm Gordon here, and Mokaev is coming in on a roll right now. He's one of these guys at 125.
It says he's like 7-0, right? Some shit like that. It doesn't take into account that the dude had like 23 amateur MMA fights that he also went undefeated in as well. So this dude's like 30-0. Mohammed Mokaev is good as fuck. Jared Gordon has no fucking chin. Mohammed Mokaev, KO, TKO, definitely live here. But to be honest, Mohammed Mokaev, a minus 850 favorite over plus 600. Malcolm, I keep saying Jared Gordon, yeah? Malcolm Gordon.
Yeah, you said it a couple times now.
Out of all the names to fuck up on, this is the one I fuck up on. It doesn't make
it's because there's a couple. There's some good ones in the UFC, so I feel you.
Mohammed Mokaev and Malcolm Gordon, dude. Mohammed Mokaev, under 1.5 is the play for me. Should definitely get this dub here. How do you feel there?
Yeah, man, I do think that Mokaev should be able to get the win, but just a little note here. Malcolm Gordon is coming in on 2-fight winning streak, one against Francisco Figueiredo, and he just had a submission win in his last fight too. So he has looked a little bit better, but Mohammed Mokaev seemingly going to be fighting in front of the home crowd there, going to have a lot of supporters there for him. I do think that he ends up getting the submission win there. So you end up moving up the card. We have Armen Petrosyan versus AJ Dobson. Going to be a middleweight clash, 3-round fight. Armen Petrosyan, AJ Dobson should be a pretty good fight here. What are you going to expect from this fight when they match up?
With Armen Petrosyan, minus 205 favorite. AJ Dobson, the plus 175 dog. If I'm going to be honest, dude, you look at Armen Petrosyan's record, man, and you seen who he's went to decision with, dude. Everyone that I keep saying was like, oh, AJ Dobson could fucking spark him out round one. He's been sparked before, dude. If you look Armen Petrosyan's last couple of fights, dude, the dude went to decision with Caio Borralho and Gregory Rodriguez, dude. I'm going Armen Petrosyan here without a doubt, dude. If you can go to decision with those two dudes, you're tough as fuck. Armen Petrosyan is the pick for me.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that Dobson's getting a little bit more.
Like, let me throw this out. Minus 205 favorite for Armen Petrosyan and plus 175 for AJ Dobson. My bad. Go ahead.
Okay. See, I thought you said it reverse, so that's why I was like, man, I'm surprised because AJ Dobson can crack. He's got some pretty heavy hands, but
let me say this. A lot of people are saying that a lot of sharps, I guess. So the people that really know in the know say that they're putting money on AJ Dobson round 1 KO. I just don't see it.
Man, it's really surprising. And I mean, AJ Dobson can crack. He could definitely crack, but Armen Petrosyan is a little bit more of a well-rounded fighter. I think him in that fight against Caio Borralho really showed off kind of his skill set and where he is even early on in his career. And AJ Dobson in his last fight did end up getting wrestled a little bit by Jacob Malkoun. I do think that Petrosyan has a little bit more of a well-rounded game. Could see Petrosyan going that route as well. Maybe even a submission. Both these guys are early on in their career. A lot of times when you see those types of transitions happen. You know, Petrosyan gets Dobson on the ground. I could see a potential where Petrosyan gets a submission. But let's say the armor Petrosyan gets the decision here. Is there anything else you had to take away from this fight?
Yeah, I believe so. So we'll move along to the next one. I got you.
Let's go.
Abubakar.
No, I got it. I got it. I got
Okay.
it. I got it right here. Abubakar Nurmagomedov versus Grasso Omargadzhiev. Taking place at 170. Looks like Omargadzhiev is actually making the move down from middleweight, taking this fight at 170. When Abubakar and Omargadzhiev end up taking the octagon, what are you going to expect from these two?
He just wanted to say the names. That's his thing. He's like, no.
Hell yeah,
like,
dude. Because I had this.
Let me do it. Let me do it.
So hell yeah, I got this.
So Abubakar minus 165 favorite over the plus 140 Omargadzhiev. You ready for it, D? You ready for it?
Let's go.
It's coming off here.
Let's do it.
The Nurmagomedov is taking that L here, dude. I am going with Omargadzhiev. In the first underdog pick of the night that I'm taking, plus 140, I'm going Gaji. Abubakar just, I don't know, dude. I don't know if he's not impressed me or if he's not the same as the rest of the Nurmagomedovs, but I don't feel too confident in picking him in this fight specifically, just maybe other fights, but Omargadzhiev is a true, really good himself. Also a fucking Russian. They're both good, pretty much at the same thing. I'm going Omargadzhiev here for the underdog pick, plus 140 over the Abubakar Nurmagomedov minus 165. Russian versus Russian here, though, dude.
They are both Russian hammers, as Brian Campbell would like to say. I do think that, you know, the Nurmagomedov name is something to live off of, but I don't know. I do kind of agree with you in the fact that Abubakar hasn't really made the biggest splash yet in the UFC, and he actually does have a loss in the UFC as well, a submission loss to David Zawada. So that does kind of make you pause going into here, saying that.
And you're like, who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is David Zawada?
and you're gonna be facing Omargadzhiev and you know he's one of these Russian hammers as well. So definitely can't see a little trepidation here, but I think I'm going to ride off with the name in itself. I think I'm going to ride off with the Abubakar Nurmagomedov win. I think that he could potentially get a decision here. And what looks like right now to be our first disagreement of the night. So going into this weekend when we're talking about disagreeing on fights, this is one that we could throw in there.
Odd, man, because fucking pay-per-views, dude, we try to take 5. It might be tough. But to be honest, if there's any huge fucking disagreements, I gotta expect they're gonna be on the main card, dude. I ain't got nothing else for this one. If you want to move on to the next one.
Yeah. I was going to say, honestly, and me myself looking up the card a little bit, I can see, I see some spots where we're going to end up disagreeing. So I do see some spots where we're going to end up agreeing because we do have a similar wavelength. But let's move up the card here, and we're going to be looking at Sabir Tukhugov. That is one of Khabib's homeboys that was in the brawl with him with Conor McGregor. For those that might not remember, taking on Lucas Almeida here, according to FanDuel. Going off FanDuel here, Sabir Tukhugov is a minus 158 favorite, taking on the plus 124 Lucas Almeida. Looks like it's going to be taking place at featherweight. Sabir and Almeida, how do you see this fight going?
Yeah, not too much different here on my end as Coach Khabib Hat comes back on. Zuby, the minus 155 favorite on my end, plus 135 for Lucas Almeida. Zuby for sure gonna get I don't know the decision here. Sabir Tukhugov's really good. I gotta ride out with him here. He's done nothing but prove consistency to me personally. Sticking with Zuby.
Man, so this fight is a little bit interesting. Zabira, for me, I'm going to say similar to Abubakar, except for me, maybe even potentially more. I just haven't seen a lot from Zabira as far as his UFC career is going. He's had kind of some ups and downs. He had the little run-in with Conor McGregor. I think he had spent 2 years outside the octagon at that point. Hasn't been the most active fighter. So I do think that I want to go Almeida so bad. The only thing that really kind of that hesitates with me is that Zubaira in his couple fights that I've seen in the UFC, he is a little bit more willing to stand and scrap. And I think in that Hakeem Dawodu fight, he was a little bit more willing to kind of stand and trade with Hakeem, and Hakeem was able to keep him on his back foot, able to counter and get out the way. If he tries to stand in there and trade with Lucas Almeida just came out of that barn burner with Mike Trezano, and we seen how that fight went. Both of them went back and forth. Man, you know what? I'm actually gonna go Lucas Almeida here. I do. I haven't seen enough from Zubair Tukhugov for me. I think that Almeida has a lot of momentum coming in here, coming off of 2 finishes in a row. I think he's gonna be able to get the job done. So give me Lucas Almeida here, and I think he's gonna be able to get it done. Not by finish. I do think that he's gonna be a little bit faster. Zubaira, as I said, not the most active. Let's go Lucas Almeida. Is there anything else you have for that fight?
Let me start writing these down because I'm telling you, we're gonna have more than 5. I'm fucking calling that shit now because I didn't expect us to have different picks already. So our different ones so far are the Gaggi. So the past 2. So Zuby versus Lucas. And
Abu Bakr and Omargadzhiev.
I'm not writing that. I'm just writing
Abu. Just right. Abu.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's all I got from that one. If you want to move on to the next one, dude. I believe you think we're gonna pick different here, but we're gonna end up fucking picking the same.
Okay, man. So moving on up to or actually we already are on the main prelim portion of the card. But looking at Volkan Oezdemir and Nikita Krylov here, Nikita Krylov actually coming in at, according to FanDuel, a -178 favorite here. Volkan Oezdemir coming in at a +138 underdog. Both fighters here coming off got a little bit of momentum for both fighters. I know Volkan Oezdemir coming off of a much needed win against Paul Craig in his last fight out. Nikita Krylov was able to get the finish against Alexander Gustafsson in his last fight, which is one of the results is why I didn't want to see Gus fight anymore. Just going back to another one, but Nikita Krylov and Volkan Oezdemir, what do you expect to see when these two fight?
This is the perfect reasoning why MMA math does not work, dude. I just think it's a bad matchup for No Time here, dude. No Time has been getting knocked out in no time or going to decision and maybe getting the win, dude. Nikita Krylov starts fast, dude. Like shot out of a cannon. If you look, dude, every single one of his fights are kind of fucking barn burners. I don't really do a whole lot of, I guess, tape study, dude, but I've been kind of fucking bored this week. And this one was one that I feel like it was a close enough play to where it's like you can find value here. I like Nikita Krylov here, dude.
Man, that's actually surprising. I know you're a pretty big No Time fan, so Nikita Krylov, he is one of those guys. He's super well rounded. I think one of the things for him that he really puts all the tools together, and I'm actually super interested in this fight because for Volkan Oezdemir, you know, we seen his last fight against Paul Craig. He did what he needed to do to get the win, but it wasn't really tested. Paul Craig kind of rode out the fight, kind of laying on his back. But I think Nikita Krylov is going to be a guy that's going to really challenge Volkan here. But I do think that Volkan, I think that win against Paul Craig, even though he didn't do what he wanted to do as far as getting a finish, I think just getting back on the board and having the confidence to want to turn it right back around and get back on the ship. I think that's going to do a lot of confidence for Volkan. And I think Nikita Krylov had the good performance against Alexander Gustafsson in his last fight, but had some up and down performances before that. He's kind of been one of those guys, also had multiple UFC stints back and forth within the organization. Builds up goodwill because, as you said, he does end up being in barn burners. I actually like the value here on Volkan Oezdemir at +138 to get the job done. I don't think he's going to be able to finish Nikita Krylov because Nikita Krylov, I mean, unless you unless you actually like take an assault rifle in there with you and take it in there with you. I mean, this dude's fought a light heavyweight and heavyweight before, and he's fought a lot of killers. And to my knowledge, has not been knocked. He's been submitted a couple of times, but has not been knocked out. I don't think that Volkan Oezdemir has the submission ability, but I do think that he has a striking ability, has confidence coming into this fight. Volkan Oezdemir, I think he's able to get it done.
Most notably, Nikita Krylov went to decision with Ankalaev, and that was kind of a fucking barn burner, dude. That's like one of the ones that's like, bro, Ankalaev and like fucking Krylov was kind of fucking throwing fucking back and forth, and dude, it's just, I think fucking No Time's kind of exposed, dude. If he can't like fucking knock you out, dude, and if you have some fucking striking, you should probably beat him. Like I said, Krylov here for me. I'm all good here. This next one, dude, kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, no, it definitely is here, and we got Mohammed Muradov.
Are we going like fucking different there? Let me write that down. Volkan.
Yeah, I did go Volkan. Volkan. So the one that I'm going to be hesitant on putting into our picks is Lucas Almeida and Zubaira. That's going to be the one where I'm going to be like,
we'll just keep it in the back pocket.
Exactly. So moving up the card here, looking at Mohammed Muradov versus Caio Borralho. Caio Borralho is coming in off a little bit of momentum here. He's closing in at the minus 215 favorite, taking on Mohammed Muradov at the plus 164 underdog right now. Taking place at 185. Muradov is coming off the loss to GM3. Seems like he's actually taking,
or I guess, not by knock.
Well, he got club and stuff.
Close, yeah.
Yeah, the natural club and stuff from GM3 himself. But he has been off for a year coming into this fight. He was actually on, I believe, a 20 fight win streak or 18 fight win streak before he actually lost to Gerald Meerschaert. So what do you expect from Caio Borralho and Mohammed Muradov here?
I don't know if fucking Mohammed Muradov is Dagestani or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and take my fucking Russian hat off, and I wish I had a fucking like a Dorino Burns fucking headband. That'll be like the next thing I get for sure. Going Caio Borralho here, dude. Dude is massive. Dude is great. So good, powerful, excellent in jiu-jitsu, dude. Caio Borralho, probably by sub is the way this goes, in my opinion.
Yeah, Caio Borralho is. Dude's a savage. He's coming in off some, as I said, got some momentum coming in. Surprisingly, in his last couple of fights, he has not gotten a finish, though. So that, although he has shown some dominance in his fights with good wrestling, even though with him being a jiu-jitsu guy, he's shown off some decent striking, good wrestling, good offensive wrestling for a jiu-jitsu player, too, because you see a lot of the jiu-jitsu players, they don't have really good offensive wrestling. They have good back takes, but not really good takedowns, singles and the double legs and things like that. But I think that that's one thing that Caio Borralho does carry into this fight, and I think that he ends up getting the win. I think there's going to be a little bit of value there, and if you take Caio Borralho by decision, right now, if you actually go by Borralho by decision, you can get him on FanDuel plus 175. So that's a little bit of value I think you can definitely take advantage of going into that fight.
Yeah, not bad. DraftKings odds at the moment plus 165 for Muradov and minus 195 for Caio Borralho. So a little bit better odds on FanDuel if you're betting the favorite, not so much if you're going to bet the underdog there. Yeah. I guess we're going to start at the fucking is this the main card now? Oh no, the main event of the prelims. So this is main event of the prelims.
Yeah, this is the main event of the prelims, man. This is a big showdown at welterweight right now. Both these guys heading towards the top, and they had to fight each other eventually, it seemed like. So these two taking on one another. Belal Muhammad coming in at the plus 114 underdog right now, taking on Sean Brady. Sean Brady, also a guy that highly touted as one of the strongest guys in the UFC, regardless of weight class. Michael Chiesa even admitted after their fight, this guy's as strong as an ox. But we've seen Belal Muhammad get knocked down, and he's came back, man. Took a loss against Jeff Neal back in 2018 and hadn't lost up until the no contest against Leon Edwards and really hasn't lost since that Jeff Neal fight, if you want to count the Leon Edwards fight as a no contest. So both these fighters coming off some momentum. What do you expect to see in this fight?
I'm going with the human Ninja Turtle, the biggest back in the UFC, the brick house, Sean Brady, dude. In my opinion, Bilal Muhammad does good with people that he can wrestle better than. I feel like Sean Brady, maybe, I'm not sure if he has better wrestling, but I don't think he's going to have the biggest struggle getting Bilal Muhammad down. So I guess I'm going to find out what I need to know in the first 2 minutes of this fight. Who is stronger? If Sean Brady is able to get like Bilal Muhammad down, Sean Brady for sure by decision is the way that I'm going. What kind of gives me a little bit of hesitancy is when you look back to Bilal Muhammad versus Vicente Luque. The fight, I was all over Vicente Luque in that fight. He already fucking knocked him out once. Why can't he do it again? The footwork was giving like Vicente Luque issues there. That fight is just kind of throwing me off just a little bit. I'm going Sean Brady. I'm a Sean Brady fan. I hope he wins. Interesting fight. This truly could go either way, though. I'm going to be rooting for Sean Brady.
Yeah, I think this fight is honestly, and we give Bilal Muhammad a lot of crap, myself included, as you noted about that last Vicente Luque fight. I'm a huge Vicente Luque fan. Super disappointed in the way the fight played out for Vicente Luque against Bilal Muhammad, but it just showed the evolution in Bilal Muhammad's game and kind of where he's grown. And I do think that for Sean Brady, this dude's coming in, and as I said, Paul Felder, Michael Chiesa, everybody will tell you, quite arguably the strongest person outside of weight class that he's ever fought. So my biggest thing that I want to see from Sean Brady is he did fight Michael Chiesa in his last fight, but outside of Chiesa, he hasn't really fought what's considered like a top-notch wrestler, someone who's good with takedown defense and can kind of apply the same pressure on you. I think one of the big keys for Bilal Muhammad is if you look at the Damian Maia fight that he had, Damian Maia had multiple opportunities where he had one of Bilal Muhammad's legs and was trying to take him down. And I remember a sequence in that fight when Damian Maia had Bilal Muhammad backed up against the fence and went to take a single leg on him. And the balance of Bilal Muhammad was absolutely insane to stay on the one leg, get himself back to the fence, stay in the standing position, and to apply the pressure back on Damian Maia. We haven't really seen Sean Brady face any adversity yet in the UFC, let alone face someone who's a top-notch grappler like Bilal Muhammad. As crazy as it sounds, man, and this actually might be the one I want to keep off a little bit more, but Bilal Muhammad's got some momentum, man. I actually think Bilal Muhammad might get a decision here. Sean Brady a little inexperienced for this level right now. I think Bilal Muhammad's got a lot of momentum. As you said, I think his footwork's a little tricky, and I think he kind of knows how to play the system a little bit as far as being a point fighter, knowing what judges like to see. We've heard the MMA commentators say multiple times about the seminars that they go to, the dominance and damage, and in part on what the judges really prioritize when it comes to scoring fights. And Bilal Muhammad's one of the smart guys, man. And I think he takes advantage. He's going to have a little bit of home crowd there with him in Abu Dhabi as well. I think there's a lot of value on him at plus 114 right now to get the job done.
All right. Plus 120 over on my side for Bilal Muhammad and minus 140 Sean Brady's side. Dorian going, remember the name, or you cannot remember him, and that's okay too. And then I'm going the human Ninja Turtle, aka Brick House, Sean Brady. Yeah, that's all for this one, dude. You want to move on to the main card?
Yeah, man, because this is going to be an absolute barn burner. And I mean, from the opening bell of the first fight of the main card all the way up until the main event, I mean, it's bangers on all levels. And we're going to start off here at the women's 125 division. And we're looking at Katlyn Chookagian here. She is coming in at a plus 172 underdog, according to FanDuel, taking on Manon Fiorot, coming in at the minus 225 favor right now. Fiorot has, again, one of these rising contenders coming up, making a lot of noise in this division. She has a couple of good finishes onto her name, and in her last couple of fights, she's fought Jennifer Maia, she's fought Mayra Bueno Silva, she's fought good wrestlers, and had been able to fend herself well. And she's able to fight these strikers and able to put them away too. So what I'm interested to see is really how well. Let me not get too much into it because I'm a big Choo fan. What are you expecting from Manon Fiorot and Katlyn Chookagian when they clash?
I see this fight going to decision no matter what. I do have odds on this. What is this going to decision? The fight process is going to decision minus 300. So pretty much no fucking value there, dude. I don't see either one of these girls getting finished. Katlyn Chookagian's tough. If there is a finish, I do see it coming on the Manon Fiorot side. I do believe that, she is able to just put the pressure on her, pepper her up enough, I guess, see Katlyn Chookagian fold under the pressure maybe, but not likely in my opinion. I do see this going to decision. Super close fight, dude. Dude, this is a tough one. I'm going Manon Fiorot just because she's younger. She seems to have more of the fan base on her side. She's got I guess momentum behind her. Katlyn Chookagian, a little bit older now. I guess removed from the UFC, then got back in the UFC, all revolving around this fucking fight. A whole bunch of issues revolving around this specific fight, dude. Maybe she didn't want to take it, but then she called her out. So it's kind of odd too. Dude, this is a weird fight altogether. Super fucking close. I'm going Manon Fiorot. I know Dorian is going to ride with his choo-choo train, or at least I think so. Which way are you going here, man?
Well, I think a big part of the going into the last fight was that I think Katlyn Chookagian wanted a little bit more time to prepare for Fiorot. They kind of tried to give her the fight on last second notice, and they tried to give her the fight in Paris
in
as
France,
well.
Yeah.
Or in France. So yeah, I can completely understand Chookagian saying, hey, I'll fight this girl. That's fine. I don't care, but I'm not going to also fight down in the rankings and fight on her home field. Like, you're going to have to cut me some type of break here. And I think that's what ended up being the neutral siding for Abu Dhabi in this fight taking place. And I think as I was starting to get into before I kind of toss it back over to you, I want to see Manon Fiorot. She seems to be a little bit of a front runner in her fights, whereas she's able to kind of get off to a fast start. Once she's able to establish her range against these girls, a lot of times if she's fighting a grappler like Jennifer Maia is going to keep being resilient and going for the takedowns, but Jennifer Maia just couldn't offer that much. Just the size advantage was going to be a big difference. Katlyn Chookagian is going to be if not bigger, they're going to be relatively the same size. So I think as far as the reach, I think the reach is going to be about the same. I do think that the experience is going to be on the side of Katlyn Chookagian. Katlyn Chookagian by decision on FanDuel right now is plus 250, which is absolutely insane because if there's any way that Katlyn Chookagian is going to win, it is going to be by decision. So I think that Katlyn Chookagian, look, she's got the wins against Vivi. She's got the win against Hebos coming in here, and she's stood her ground and really scrapped out those fights to get the wins. She's faced adversity in her fights before and has been able to come back, whereas Manon Fiorot has been a front runner. I think there's a lot of value on the choo-choo train here, the underdog. And if you go decision, man, I mean that's some good value if she's able to hit on that. So give me choo-choo.
It for sure. It's just to throw these fucking stats at you because I know you were a little unsure. Katlyn Chookagian 33, Manon Fiorot 32, 5'8" for Katlyn Chookagian, 5'6" for Manon Fiorot. Obviously, both 125, 68-inch reach for Katlyn Chookagian, 65 for Manon Fiorot. So Katlyn Chookagian's still the bigger fighter overall. I was like, after you said that, I'm like, man, Katlyn Chookagian's so fucking big for that fucking weight class. It's hard to find someone actually bigger than her. So yeah, dude, interesting fight all around. That's one of the ones that if I was to choose, dude, that's one of the ones that I wouldn't be too confident in. But I am going Manon Fiorot. So next one, dude. He loves Jesus. He loves Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, no, he definitely does, and I would say that's my guy, man. And we're talking about, of course, Beneil Dariush, Benny D taking on Martinez Gamrot. Gamrot coming in with a little bit of momentum himself. He is coming in at the minus 210 favorite, according to FanDuel, where you can get plus money on Beneil Dariush at plus 162. Coming into his lightweight division, Beneil Dariush is one of the guys who has been calling for a title shot for a little bit now. Been kind of, as what some fans can say, disrespected. But I think with Islam and Charles, the win streaks that both of those guys are on, there's no way you can really doubt them. But I believe Beneil Dariush is on a 7-fight unbeaten streak at the moment. So I can understand how he wants to bang the table and make his case as well. But what do you think here? Martinez Gamrot coming in off the main event win against Arman Tsarukyan. Great fight as well. What do you see for these two when they end up facing off?
I don't think like fucking UFC wants like fucking Benny D as their champion, dude. He kind of has the same thing as like Sam Alvey. It's just like I don't know what it is about them. They just, maybe it's just their face. I don't know. It's like I have no fucking clue, dude. UFC does not want Benny D as their champion for some reason. I got to go Gamrot here, dude. He looked fantastic over Arman Tsarukyan in his fucking last fight. Like that's a like I have to go like fucking Benny D here.
No, you said Gamrot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, over fucking Benny D. It's just he just looked, dude. He surprised me over fucking Tsarukyan. I didn't think he was gonna win that. Younger, more athletic, more on a, I don't want to say more on a roll, but he has a lot of like momentum behind him, as where fucking I like fucking Benny D. He's exciting. Don't get me wrong. For those of you who don't know, fuck my food. The fucking the meme of Joe Rogan, like fucking John Anik and EC, that meme is from Benny D versus Drakkar Klose, where they all fucking fell over. That's how nuts that fight was. You never count Benny D out. That being said, dude, Gamrot, so he's young, he's tough, he's up and coming. He is the new wave. I gotta go Gamrot here. That's the only way I see this going, man. Fucking Benny D's past wins, dude, over Tony Ferguson that you've seen now, dude, is not in the best shape. That's the one that comes to mind. And Drakkar Klose, as I said, that ain't a top of the line fighter. A few in between there. It is what it is.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And as I said, Gamrot's coming in with a lot of momentum. I actually think in that last fight that against Arman Tsarukyan for Gamrot, I thought Tsarukyan still won that fight. But even if I thought Tsarukyan won that fight, there was still a lot that I actually learned from Gamrot in that fight. Was that, dude, you are not getting him out of there easy. Like whenever Gamrot's on the other end of the octagon, you're going to get a dogfight for either 15 or 25 minutes, and that dude is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And I thought that what he was really able to do against Tsarukyan there in that fifth round, which I thought he was able to steal that fifth round there, his cardio, just able to keep the pace with the wrestling. And Tsarukyan is one of those guys who loves to implement the wrestling too. But he was really able. He really kind of wilted under the pressure of Gamrot there toward the end of that fight. So I do think that Gamrot has a lot of tools here that he can use and play against Beneil Dariush. I think Gamrot has some tricky footwork that Beneil Dariush is going to have to try to get around too. He's very good at kind of bouncing around on the outside and stepping in with them blitzes, with them big punches, big overhand rights, and setting up the takedowns. Beneil Dariush has been finished before in his career. A couple of times he's been knocked out for the losses that he does have. I think Gamrot might actually be able to get a TKO here. If Beneil Dariush does try to get a little tricky and does try to brawl here, I say Gamrot here is going to be the victor. And I think he's going to move one step closer to a potential title shot at lightweight. Is there anything else that you had more to take away from this fight?
Nah, man. Besides, Benny D loves Jesus, and I just want you to know that as much as he wants you to know that, because he's going to let you know. He's going to let you know.
He will let you know. But I can appreciate the love for the man above. So I can, maybe that's one of the reasons why I like him. I can show appreciation, but I can understand how to UFC fans it's not wanting them, it's not making them get up out of their seats to want to see your next fight. That's for sure. But moving up the card here, man, the I think really for you would be called the people's main event here, as you're representing the Sugar Sean O'Malley shirt, man. Coming in, I do think this might be the people's main event here. Sean O'Malley, plus 190 underdog, according to FanDuel, taking on the former UFC 135-pound champ and Peter Yan coming in at minus 250 here. And I think for, Peter Yan to come off of the loss against Aljamain Sterling, really he knew he had to reset in order to get himself back to a title shot. And I think right now for him, Sugar Sean O'Malley, even though he had the weird loss against Pedro, or the weird no contest against Pedro Munoz, has probably the most juice to squeeze out of the division. So coming into this fight, super highly anticipated fight. What are your expectations when Peter Yan and Sean O'Malley finally get to touch gloves?
I just want to throw out there DraftKings minus 265 for Peter Yan, plus 225 for Sugar Sean O'Malley, dude. So getting some juice there on the O'Malley side if you feel confident as much as I do feel confident. Let's go Sugar Show, baby. Got my Sugar Sean O'Malley fucking pink wig, repping fresh here today. Sugar Sean O'Malley. If you don't know, one of my top 2 or 3 favorite fighters in the UFC, hands down. Gotta ride Sugar Show here. But it's not just because I'm a fan. I do think, dude, Sean's bigger. Sean's longer. We have seen Peter Yan fight a longer guy in Corey Sandhagen. The fight went all 5 rounds. Didn't get Sandhagen out of there. A few things I want to take away. Fucking Sandhagen tends to only go side to side a lot, and Peter Yan exposed that pretty quick with spinning shit multiple times and the hook over the side. Sean O'Malley, he's not side to side. He's in and out, side to side, back. Dude, he's everywhere at all times. He has a longer reach than Corey Sandhagen. Keep that in mind as well. Same height, but it is what it is. In my opinion, accuracy for accuracy, more accurate than Corey Sandhagen, in my opinion. And you can look at the numbers. Sean O'Malley is the most accurate striker in the bantamweight division. I'm going Sugar Show here, hands down, by decision. Sugar Show, 29-28 decision over Petr Yan. Let's go, Sugar Show.
I knew obviously you were going to ride that one out with the Sugar Show, man. But for me, I think the biggest keys coming into this fight is a lot of people are going to go to Peter Yan takes a round off and he starts slow and blah blah blah. Man, a lot of times in Peter Yan, if you look back at a lot of his 3-round fights, he actually does start a little bit faster. He really didn't take on that mentality of starting slow until he was really slated into those 5-round fights because he knew that it was going to be a prolonged fight. I do think that in this fight, he is going to come out with a little bit more energy and put his foot on the gas a little bit. The biggest thing for me that I want to see from Peter Yan is if he's going to take the path of least resistance and try to wrestle, or is he going to fall into the hype of him being the guy to officially knock out Sean O'Malley first? Even though we know Cheeto had the fight, it wasn't a good flush punch to the chin and land Sean O'Malley out. So I think Peter Yan, he seems to be one of those guys that can be a little bit emotional. You press his buttons. And he can kind of get caught into a brawl a little bit. And I think that actually sets up perfectly for Sean O'Malley, where Peter Yan's really going to have to try to get in Sean's face. I think Sean's going to really use a lot of his footwork, use his jab. He's really good with that teep kick to the body. I think that's one thing that he's going to be able to use to kind of keep Peter Yan away, keep him at distance. And I think the same as you. I think that if Peter Yan is not going to come out in his wrestling singlet and just blast doubles and single legs the whole fight, I actually think it's Sean O'Malley's fight to lose, man, and I think that Sean O'Malley should be able to get the win here, man. And I think it's surprising because I know a lot of people are kind of doubting Sean O'Malley right now, especially when you look at the lines. But Sean O'Malley definitely got the tools to get it done, and I think he does.
Let's go, Sugar Show. One thing that I just want to take away from Peter Yan's last fight. Am I crazy when I remember at one point fucking Peter Yan fucking went to throw something and Aljo just dipped out the other side and somehow Yan ended up on the ground. He overthrew and he ended up on the ground. Am I wrong there?
Yeah, he went to throw that big he went to throw the hook at the one point. And he kind of went over and kind of fell over his legs a little bit. And I think that it might have been a head kick that he went to throw, and he kind of stumbled a little bit. And then Aljo kind of chased him from that point. And once he chased him, he was able to capture his back from that point. It was kind of more of a slip. I do remember Aljo early in the fight went for the takedowns and wasn't able to get him. But once Yan stumbled and fell, that's when they was able to get the back control and ride out that, I believe it was round 2.
If he starts stumbling around the octagon against O'Malley, dude, I just want to throw that out there. I'm not a Tim Welch fan. I don't like the guy. I don't think he's entertaining. I don't think he's fucking funny. This is I like fucking Sean O'Malley's fucking coach. I think half the shit that he says is bro, calm down a little bit. He said that he's going to go out there and make fucking Peter Yan look stupid, dude. It seems brash. It seems bold, dude. But if Peter Yan comes out there stumbling and throwing shots like he was at Aljamain at fucking Sean O'Malley, dude, it's going to be a bad night for Peter Yan, dude. I have to throw that out there. It's going to be bad because Sean O'Malley's so accurate, dude. He doesn't really miss his shots.
Yeah, no, he's not, and he's very measured with his shots as well, and he kind of knows how to use them. So he's going to have the frame here. Peter Yan's going to have to do some work to get inside, just like he does for most of his opponents. But I think he's really going to have to try to do a lot to get inside the range here of Sean O'Malley, and I think that kind of plays right into Sean O'Malley's lap, man, for sure. But was there anything else that you had to take away from this fight?
No,
as I know it's your main event here.
Yeah, but as you said, the fight that I am looking most forward to is this one right here. This could be the main event, and I'd be a fucking buyer. But we'll move on to the next one, the one that I don't really care about too terrible much, but it is Dorian's favorite fighter. So we got to talk about him.
Yeah, man. So TJ is one of my favorite fighters, but I actually got love for both of these fighters. So it's actually going to be really tough for me to try to choose in this one. But you do have the return of TJ Dillashaw fighting once again for the bantamweight title, and he's taking on the current undisputed champ Aljamain Sterling, the Funk Master himself. And the Funk Master is coming in, according to FanDuel, at a minus 185 favorite right now. And you can get some plus money on TJ Dillashaw plus 144. Dillashaw coming in off the win, a very disputed win, but coming off against a win against Corey Sandhagen. Aljamain Sterling coming off of finally being able to decide who was the rightful winner in between him and Peter Yan. Both coming in off of pretty good wins against good opponents. And what do you expect when TJ Dillashaw finally, after all the smack talk, gets to get his hands on Aljamain Sterling?
You already know how I feel about this one, dude. I didn't like TJ before he got popped. I don't like TJ after he got popped. I'm going Aljo strictly off of my dislike for TJ Dillashaw. But for those of you who don't know, I am an Aljo fan. Old D Rose knows himself. I did put an old $10 bill on Aljamain Sterling to win by split decision in his last fight. And old D Rose knows I fucking cashed that ticket. I saw that shit coming a mile away. I was like, this is going to be a close competitive fight, but I think Aljo is going to get the control time to get that dub. And sure enough, he did, dude. I'm going Aljo again here. Probably by decision, if anything, maybe by a sub. I've heard some rumblings that people that have grappled with both that Aljamain is for sure the better grappler. TJ, like the better striker of the two, but I don't feel like that's something that we didn't know. That's their game plans. Aljo here, late sub or decision is the way I'm going. Are you going to pick your favorite fighter?
So the interesting thing for me coming into this fight is going to be for Sterling, obviously his wrestling against TJ Dillashaw striking, but I think a little bit more TJ Dillashaw's takedown defense per se, because I do think that he's been able to show good takedown defense for the most part. But honestly, if you go back and look at a lot of his fights, how many like true grapplers has TJ Dillashaw fought? I mean, he's fought like Rafael Assuncao, he's fought Dominic Cruz, he's fought Renan Barao, but Renan Barao, he was of course he had a jiu-jitsu black belt, but it's not like he was going out there and, you know, taking dudes down consistently. So that is going to be something of an element that TJ Dillashaw, in my opinion, has not faced yet. And that is going to be interesting to see what is going to be like once he gets pressured by a wrestler. And I think for Aljamain Sterling, I do think his gas tank is to be in question a little bit. If you look at that last fight against Peter Yan, me and you both picked him going into the fight to be the winner. And we both thought that he won that fight. Both thought that he won the first 3 rounds and that Yan won the last 2. But with that, man, Sterling really did gas out there in that 4th and 5th round, which is a little bit to my surprise, because similar to how you were explaining with Jordan Wright having a lot of the top control against Dusko Todorovich this past weekend, Aljamain Sterling had a lot of back control in that 2nd and 3rd round against Peter Yan. And I was really surprised to see, even with the ground and pound that he was able to put on Peter Yan, really tend to tire out there in that 4th and 5th round and let Peter Yan almost steal the fight just because he stole that 4th and 5th round. Man, I see a lot of value on TJ Dillashaw right now, man. I think that Sterling, I think his biggest thing is that his strikes aren't overwhelming. He throws awkward strikes to set up what he wants to do with his grappling. What I want to see if his striking has kind of taken the next step, and where he's able to actually not knock people out every time, but make them respect his pops when he delivers them. But I think for right now, I don't know if Aljamain Sterling quite has that just yet, and I think that sets up for a TJ Dillashaw decision win here.
I don't think Aljamain Sterling has dropped anyone in the UFC ever. He has like 1 TKO ground and pound win, but never dropped anyone. So I don't see that coming. I don't think he has the power to do it. I could be wrong, but yeah, off the top of my head, I've watched a lot of Aljamain Sterling fights. I remember back in I was in my 1st or 2nd apartment, dude. And the first time I ever seen Aljamain Sterling on the scale, I was like, dude, this guy looks like a fucking action figure. Just ripped up completely. Ever since the first time I seen him, hasn't changed one fucking bit. Let's go, Aljo. Moving on to the main event. Yeah, dude.
Dude, we are here, dude, and it is going to be for the undisputed vacant lightweight title, as it's Charles Oliveira, do Bronx, taking on Islam Makhachev. Islam coming in with the push of Khabib Nurmagomedov, Coach Khabib, as you had so elegantly stated earlier, coming in, really giving his guy a push. Charles Oliveira, the guy cannot catch a break as far as fighting in everybody's hometown. He went and fought Justin Gaethje in Arizona in his hometown, and went on to fight Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler in America. And the UFC is a return in Brazil in February, and here he is taking a fight against Islam Makhachev in Abu Dhabi, which is going to be a very Muslim-heavy crowd. So Charles Oliveira cannot seem to catch a break here. Man, I'll say, I know you've been picking first on a couple of the fights, so I don't know if you would want me to pick
Go
first.
for it,
Do you
man.
want to? Yeah. So I'll pick first to kind of give you a little bit of a breather, because I've been letting you pick first on all of them, even though we've gone different a little bit. So that's actually surprised me here. But Charles Oliveira, I do think the biggest thing for him, for me, in his most recent fights, the dude has gone walked through hell with gasoline draws on and has came out on the other side unburned. And it's like, I don't know how, and maybe he had been burned, but no second degree, no third degree burn, just minor scars he was able to walk through. And, when he fought Gaethje, dropped twice in the first round, able to drop Gaethje with a big right hand and submit him. Dustin Poirier dropped in the first round, able to take Dustin Poirier down in the second round, wear him down, get the submission in the third. His fights tend to play out the same way. He goes through chaos, fights through the fire, and comes out on the other side. I think when you're talking about someone like Islam's not going to be scared to go down into his guard, dude. And I think that's actually going to be what's going to decide the fight, because in Charles Oliveira's last couple of fights, even though, as I said, Chandler, Poirier, and Gaethje, all three dropped him, Michael Chandler was able to get into his guard. Well, Michael Chandler was able to sit in Charles Oliveira's guard pretty comfortably for the most part and wasn't in any real danger, even to the point where Charles Oliveira had his back and Michael Chandler felt like he was in no real danger. Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier never followed him to the ground, so that was kind of disappointing to me. I think that Islam, man, I think his forward pressure is going to be crazy. I think that he's going to take his time, as much time as he can take, because Charles Oliveira isn't going to allow him to breathe that much because his pace is crazy. But I think that Islam's going to prove to be too strong. I think he's more well-rounded than Khabib. I think he's got all the tools to get it done. Man, and I actually think that he ends up subbing Charles Oliveira, believe it or not. And I think there could be some value here if you go maybe like third, fourth, fifth round with a submission combo here. You can right now get Islam Makhachev at submission for the third, fourth, or fifth round at plus 650 right now. So really good odds right now on FanDuel for a submission win for Islam here, and I think that's exactly what he does.
I can't say too much else more than what you said. I just want to reiterate a few things that you said that I fully agree with. As you said, the going into the guard, no one does it, and I feel like the last time we seen it was Paul Felder, and just blasted him, dude. Just rained down elbows on him, dude. But I feel like since then, it's almost like fucking Charles Oliveira fucking walks out to like X gonna give it to you. And dude, that's how the fight off the jump, dude. It's like fucking, as you said, that was hilarious. Walks through the fire with gasoline drawers on, dude. He's just there. You're fighting him. And whether you want to or not, you're fucking fighting him. You can drop him. He goes to his back, but no one goes there now. What happens when a person goes there? One takeaway that plays into that as well was Islam doesn't like to fight like that. Islam likes space. Islam likes calmness. He likes to enforce his game plan. Charles isn't giving him that. He's not going to give him any of that. He's going to be in his fucking face the entire time, fucking throwing bombs at him. And dude, I'm really interested to see how this goes. But as far as what's been proven and what we've seen, dude, I've seen Charlie fold. I've picked against him against Poirier. I picked him against Chandler. I picked him against fucking Gaethje. I'm going to pick him against them again here, dude. We're not going to see minus 170 underdog or like fucking 170, like fucking favorite, like for Islam pretty much ever from this point on. The value here is got to be Islam, dude. Islam is the way I'm going. Coach Khabib gets another dub for the night, dude. He only loses once fucking Saturday, and that is the old Abu Bakr fight. But Coach Khabib definitely has a good nights. And before we get out of here, let me ask you this real quick, dude. Who do you think UFC would rather win this fight? Do you think UFC would rather Charlie Olives win this fight, or do you think they would rather Islam Makhachev win this fight?
Well, I think so. The only reason why I think it's a tough question for who would they rather win, because I mean, honestly, I think you could put Charles Oliveira in there, and if he's the victor, I mean, we've seen how his fights go, so it's not like that. Fans are going to be all of a sudden disappointed that Charles Oliveira is your new champion because he goes in there and puts on absolute barn burners. Um, if you look at it for Islam, he does have more of the Muslim pull, similar to Habib. In my opinion, I think I don't want to. So I don't want to answer the question as who do I think the UFC wants to win. More, who do I think the UFC would benefit from if they won? I think they would actually benefit from Charles Oliveira winning if he was to win because of his fight style and his willingness to fight anybody at any given time. And also, he's been calling out Conor McGregor as of late. If he is able to claim the lightweight title back, I think that is something that you could see Charles Oliveira end up vouching for. And Dana even said over the past couple months, that's something that he would not be completely against as well. So I think what would benefit the UFC more, I do think Charles Oliveira win. Considering that Islam is kind of a flat character overall, I think Charles Oliveira does a little bit more for him.
I couldn't agree more with you, dude. As you said, Charlie and the Fire, dude. He's able to get knocked out. He's fun. And UFC fans want Islam to be Khabib, and he's not Khabib. He's not as funny. He doesn't have the same personality. So me, personally, I think UFC is rooting for not rooting. They would prefer if Charles won because, dude, maybe, just maybe, that might be just enough to get King Khabib out of retirement, dude. If Charles Oliveira beats Islam, dude, there'd be nothing else that would get him back aside from that. So who the fuck knows, dude? We got our different picks. Let me throw them at you real quick, written on a Target receipt. So going to throw them
I
at
see
you.
the dog with a Target eye on the back of it.
Yeah. Our first different pick of the night, Abubakar Nurmagomedov versus Gadzi Omargadzhiev. Zubaira Tukhugov versus Lucas. I just have Lucas. I don't know his last. Is it Almeida?
Yes, Lucas Almeida.
Yeah. Volkan Oezdemir versus Nikita Krylov. Bilal, remember the name, Mohammed versus Sean Brady. We got the Chook train, Kalen Chookagian versus Manon Fior, and TJ versus Aljo as our different fights, man. Look at the damn cat up there. They got a cat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 6 different ones, dude. What's the one that you want to throw out of there, man?
Okay, so I think, man, that Almeida and the two for me. I mean, obviously I'm gonna have to choose one. But the two that it comes down to that I feel the most murky about are the Muhammad and Brady and Zubaira and Lucas Almeida. I think it's because where Lucas Almeida is a little bit more of an unknown and Zubaira's kind of got that Habib backing. So even if he's not as good as Habib, people just automatically assume that he has a similar skill set. Let's go ahead and take that one off. Let's go ahead and take Zubaira.
Our
and
5 different picks for the weekend. Dorian will be putting this pick champ up on the line. I'll be coming to visit him. We're going to have a sick fight vlog for y'all. But our 5 different picks are Abubakar Nurmagomedov versus Gadzi Omargadzhiev, Volkan Oezdemir taking on Nikita Krylov, Bilal Muhammad, Sean Brady, Kalen Chookagian, Manon Fior, and TJ Dillashaw, Dorian's favorite fighter, against Aljamain Sterling. You get my picks.
Hey.
We got Coach Khabib fight week. We got Sugar Sean O'Malley fight week, baby. Let's go, Sugar Show. Some sick content coming for y'all this upcoming weekend. Be on the lookout early next week for that shit. I'm going to make this motherfucking trip. Come see Dorian. We're going to watch the fights together. We're going to have a fight vlog for y'all. That being said, dude, anything else before we get out of here?
Dude, a little bit of switch up on the pod, but I liked it today. I liked it today. Man. Good pod, and it'll be a hell of a fight card this weekend, dude. Can't wait to watch it together.
Indeed. That's all from us here this time. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Probably the most fun I've had on a podcast in a fucking while, dude. Enjoy the fights this weekend. UFC 280 in Abu Dhabi. Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev. TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw versus Aljamain Sterling, and Peter Yan versus the Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley. I'm Matt Anderson, Dorian Rose on the other side of your screen. This is the Golden Octagon MMA podcast, and we'll catch y'all next week. Peace.